Hi.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for being here and sharing your story with us. I have more than one question. I would like to know how it was for you to, after all, to share your personal experiences through a book. How did it feel, and when did you especially decided to do it? Second of all,
let's do one. I will forget it. Well, like I said, having children changes you. You start thinking globally. Every time you see a child on TV that's suffering, you think of them as your own child. And I was hiding away from the Armenianness for 20 years because it was painful. Leaving Baku was painful. Living in Armenia was painful. I just wanted to put myself on my feet, and my parents thought, you shouldn't think about these things. We need to move on and build our own lives. And that was a very empty existence for me. And I didn't understand why. And I think that having children kind of opened my eyes to the children of Armenia. Then I'm responsible for them as well. I thought it was an important message once I decided to publish it. I haven't looked at the book for 20 years. After I had it edited by a legendary Armenian poet from Egypt, Tatul Sonens Papazian. He is a kind of a grandfather figure for me. That was the first time I read it, and I was not well for a couple of days. It was emotionally draining, and I started having nightmares about Baku again. And so it was not an easy thing. It was not easy to talk about it the first 6 months. And my husband is my biggest rock. He just was there for me through the whole thing. I'm doing this for my people, and the more I did, the more I felt like, it's not just for nothing. That we didn't go through this for nothing. That I didn't write this for nothing. Because I see the changes, and it's inspiring people, and I hope to keep doing it. Second question.
I have two left. How do you think that this whole conflict will develop in the upcoming 5 years? And can I do the second?
Of course, yes.
Well, as a youth, as a representative of the Armenian Youth Federation, I also would like to know how you think that the Armenian youth, as well as the Azerbaijan youth, can contribute in this conflict.
That's a tough one. How this 5-year plan? Well, Artsakh will be developing, and it keeps developing. It keeps growing. They're pouring all their love into their land, and I think the most important thing for them to do is continue doing what they're doing, having a transparent government, showing the world that they are just aspiring to govern their own land. From our end, we need to continue supporting them and not forgetting them, and visiting and bringing our state and federal representatives in the United States and also in Europe, bringing them to Artsakh and sharing Artsakh with the world. It's not a frozen conflict. Nagorno-Karabakh is not a conflict. Nagorno-Karabakh is a country, and we need to share it with the world. As far as the resolution of the conflict, the current stance of the Azerbaijani government builds the situation where a resolution is not possible. You cannot expect a country that's governed themselves for 20 years to suddenly not to be a party at the negotiation table. They need to accept Nagorno-Karabakh as an entity that, along with Armenia, and speak to the people of Nagorno-Karabakh, because the Armenian government cannot speak for the people of Karabakh. People of Karabakh are responsible for their own land, and if Azerbaijan wants to communicate to Nagorno-Karabakh, they should not do that through Armenia. And I believe if President Aliyev really wanted a resolution to this conflict, it would have happened. So, perhaps it's not in his best interest, and perhaps that's not something that he wants to do. So things will continue to be stagnating the way that they are. And the country will continue to thrive and grow and stabilize. So, yes?
Thank you. I have also two questions. I just read in your book a few pages.
Yes.
I find a letter from Azim.
Yes.
I suppose he was an Azeri.
He was a
Neighbor.
lesbian boy, yeah.
Okay. Why did you mention this letter? And you wrote about your feelings here. My question is, what you will be going to your feelings now if you get a letter from
Nazim.
now?
Oh, I got a letter from Nazim.
Yeah.
Yes, I communicate. Well, this is a boy who grew up next door to me. He is a lesbian boy. We went to school together. And since first grade, he was in love with Anya, little Anya. I always got gifts from him. I always got presents on my birthday and the March 8th celebrations. And when we left, his mother did not allow us to communicate, even though we were childhood friends. I was 11 years old. But I got one letter from him, and that's the letter you're reading. I was 18 years old, but I don't know what happened to the letters. When the book was coming out, I tried to find him through social media, and I found him somehow. One thing that I do want to mention is this boy, for a year and a half, followed me to and from school to make sure no one hurt me. And this boy was sent to Karabakh War, and he was the boy that tried to save an Armenian girl in the streets of Baku and was ordered to kill Armenian people. So war is difficult. I understand that he had a brain injury or some sort of injury. And so this boy that loves me at 11 years old hates me at 36 years old. And the dichotomy is really confusing, both for me and for him, because he wants to communicate, but obviously he can't, because probably not very safe for him to do that, living in Baku. So I'm aware that he's alive, which is very important to me, but it's not something that I can, pursue or communicate to him. So I did receive a note from him. I know that he was injured in the war, and I know that he hates me simply because I'm Armenian. Or perhaps it's something that his government expects him to do. So, thank you. That was a very difficult question.
Second question. Telling histories or telling own history or biography, writing biographies is not something special nowadays. What was your aim, goal to write this book?